Today we're going to start our 2026 first Ravens mock draft. So definitely check it out here. So we're going to do our mock draft next week. Big board. We're going to go ahead and get that squared away as well. So we're going to talk with our first Ravens mock draft. A little bit before the mock draft, go ahead and talk about what's going on right now as it relates to the draft. The NFL Combine is going on right now. We did hear today from Jesse Minter talking to the media at the Combine, watching the players as well. Also heard, more importantly, I think, during the Combine from Eric DeCosta, Todd Linderbaum did receive an offer from the Ravens. No surprise as well. The Ravens kind of roll like this as far as making an offer. They don't make 2, 3, 4, 5. They kind of just make one, right? Here's your offer. Here it is. Get back to us, etc. So Linderbaum's been playing hardball with him. That's still not done. Nobody asked the $1 million question. Are you going to franchise him if he doesn't sign? So interesting to hear that if it does. Some teams have already announced that the Ravens aren't going to do that. By history, Eric DeCosta likes to wait and do that to the last minute and say, okay, then now we'll wait to the last day before he has to do it. Then go ahead and mention that. So interesting as well. Also, it was interesting. He did expect Marlon Humphrey to be back on the team next year. So that's fascinating, I think, because there was some question whether he was going to release, have to have a pay cut or whatever. So, again, very positive about Marlon. That could have been a bigger need than what people suspected if you let Marlon go. I think that's also part of it. So if you bring back Marlon there as well, along with Nate Wiggins, at least you have 2 starters there. So I think those were the 2 big takeaways that I got from it. Not big on the Combine. I think guys are going to run. You're going to see who's the fastest guy, who does the most reps, etc. How they look at shorts, etc. Some guys are going to jump up their draft stock or whatever. Maybe wide receivers, running backs, something like that. But definitely, Combine is going on right now, and looking at the Combine right now because we're going to have the draft. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the NFL draft here. First round, we're just going to call him Vega Loney. We talked about it last week in the NFL mock draft with the whole league. This week, we're just doing Ravens. This is prime need for the Ravens. They have to go ahead and fill one of their guard needs. There has been talk about Emory Jones filling in on the other side, on one side as well. Daniel Falele is a free agent. No talk, thank goodness, of bringing him back as well at right guard. So you're definitely looking at least at a right guard for sure. So even if you are looking to go ahead, the Ravens will take a defensive tackle. No, we don't. The defensive tackle thing, Kenny, is Matabuke healthy enough? And by what we're getting lately, we're assuming that Matabuke will be there. They tried to get him O-line last year, but Omarari, but they did not listen. Eric DeCosta likes his safeties there. So we know that. Aloni, I think, will fill in. Steve Avila from the Rams, I think, is a good comp for him. This guy's very active. So if you want to guard, though, I would say you're not going to have 4 or 5. This will be your shot. Certainly with the Ravens, we're picking as well. I got you. I know who you were talking about. So that's with the shot here. I think the Ravens definitely are going to look at that in the first round. Derek Moore. Here's a guy, if you see him like a few months ago, maybe 3rd round, later than that as well. Now you got a guy, Derek Moore, definitely played with Jesse Minter when Jesse Minter was a defensive coordinator at the University of Michigan. So this is a guy he knows very well, had a very good senior year as well, and also, too, had a very good Senior Bowl week. So that matters. So possibly I've seen on some boards that's 3rd round. I do think the Ravens would take him here. Edge, I think, is the other need. I think they have to they have to let's see. I watch you another Ravens guy, but you guys never agree. That's all right. He can be wrong, whoever it is. All right. Derek Moore as well. Rashawn Gary is kind of what I see with him. He's never going to be this like Max Crosby type or whatever, but he's going to knock you over with power, get you 8, 9, 10 sacks, etc. as well during the season. Maybe not 14, 15, but definitely this is a good value pick here in the second round. And this is a absolute prime need for the Ravens as well. Moore and Green on the outside is nice. I absolutely agree with that. Getting Derek Moore, getting Moore and Mike Green, I think is a good start point for next year. Max Clare from Ohio State. Thank you, sir. Max Clare from Ohio State. This is when I see him, I easily see a Dennis Pitta when I saw him play football. He's not going to be this guy that's going to that's going to stretch the field, whatever. He's going to beat guys in the short area, catch the ball in the short area, and make those 50-50 balls. He's going to take it away from linebackers, safeties, inside. He's a typical, not a lot of yak, but I do like what I also meant Dennis Pitta. Dennis Pitta was a type of catch and drop guy, right? He's going to catch it, play in space, and get the yardage right there. So he's not going to get a lot of yak. I think for a third-round pick, they're definitely going to need tight end in this draft because you're probably losing Isaiah Likely. You could also be losing Charlie Kolar as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. I think Claire would be an outstanding pick in the third round for the Ravens as well. Fourth round. Now, again, the comp picks haven't been completely announced yet. So just keep that in mind with this. But Chandler Rivers is clearly, to me in this draft, one of the best slot corners in that. So we just talked about bringing back Marlon Humphrey for the next season. Awuzie, a free agent as well. So you're going to need some help there. We'll see TJ Tampa is going to have a bigger role, possibly. Kobe Bryant, I think of the Seahawks, a smallish guy who can fight in the short area as well. I don't know if you're ever going to put this guy on the outside, but clearly you could put this guy in the slot. I think it's a great late pick for you. Somebody who can come in, not going to play every down, but he has great speed there as well. Claire is my second tight end right now. Maybe not in April, but for now. Claire, I think it's fun to watch. If you watched him, Kenny, and you watch Max Claire, fun to watch, great in the short area, great physical tight end, but he's still a receiver as well. Next, Pat Coogan from Indiana, from the national champion Hoosiers as well. So here's a guy who played at Notre Dame. Who in the right mind, right? He would have said a few years ago, why would a guy go from Notre Dame to Indiana? Well, he did, and he was definitely a contributor, one of the best centers in the draft as well. So issue with Linderbaum, maybe. Hopefully the Ravens can sign him. If not, you're going to have to take a guy. Probably you're going to have to take a guy mid-round because it's not really a guy early at center. And this is a guy I think is as good a chance as anybody as well. That run game of Indiana last year was outstanding, I thought. See, like he said what I said. Coogan, I think, is a day one starter. I'm actually a little surprised. He is not as thought about as well in it as far as the draft goes. I see him late rounds. Centers tend to go a little bit later, so I do that. Are we keeping Linderbaum? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it's Linderbaum is playing hardball with the Ravens, and I do believe that it's possible he could leave because the Ravens want to lowball him. That's not going to work. He's got every team in the league wanting to sign him. So that is going to work. So this is a guy that can definitely praise you. Ted Karras is a guy. Alex Karras is Webster's dad. Ted Karras is a guy, good career as well, good solid center. I think a guy could play here as well. Max Brazen, fullback, tight end, Michigan as well. Kind of the guy I'm thinking of is Nick Boyle. So another free agent, interesting name we're going to know about soon is Pat Ricard. So is he a guy that can go ahead and they're going to bring him back? Are they keeping a fullback? So here's a guy who's a hybrid. So played his first couple years at Michigan as well as a fullback. This past season, a little bit more as tight end. So you see 44. So you have that athleticism. This is a blocker, right? This is a blocker. He's going to catch the ball some, but I think he's a blocker. I think Nick Boyle, former Ravens tight end, I think is kind of what I see with him. He's a guy who's could be, you could say this guy's one of the better blocking tight ends in the NFL, one of the better blocking fullbacks, and definitely you could put him at fullback, obviously with that versatility. So here in the late rounds, you're going to need at least two here for sure as well, because you could be losing 2 guys. So Ravens have a history of doing this, taking Charlie Kolar and Isaiah Likely in the same draft, Mark Andrews and Hayden Hurst, Ed Dixon and Dennis Pitta. You're losing some guys. Now you're replenishing them with late round draft picks. So I think that's very possible here. Caden Curry of Ohio State, set the edge guy. So this is a guy here that's definitely a guy that's definitely, you look for a guy. Rob Ninkovich, I think, of the New England Patriots is kind of like that. You're going to get some pass rush as well, but they really seem to like guys that set the edge. Not a guy with that explosive motor. Got some motor, got a good motor as well, but he's an edge guy, but he's all over the field. He's definitely going to play linebacker. He's definitely doing that. Curry's flying up boards. I believe it. But here in the 5th round, I think this is a good pick for the Ravens. Ninkovich, I definitely think is a good comp for him. You look at a guy like Ninkovich, too, had a long career, not a high pick, whatever, played on a good team. I think that's a good comp here as well. Adam Randall from the Clemson Tigers, 5th round from the Clemson from Dabo, Clemson Tigers. Garrett Bound is this. This is a guy, pound you up the middle, pound you up the middle, pound you up the middle, pound you up the middle as well. Don't know about Justice Hill coming back as well. Rasheen Ali played a little bit last year. I definitely think to take a guy like this in the late rounds, I think is worth it. Look, they carried 4 running backs last season. I don't know if they're going to carry 4. Are you going to keep a Justice Hill? Derrick Henry getting older. I think this is definitely a guy. Garrett Brown, good straight ahead runner in between the tackles. I definitely think good late round choice here as well. Caleb Proctor from Southeast Louisiana, small school. Brandon Meanbane is the comp as well. When you watch a guy like this, and I was watching Caleb Proctor, when you watch a guy, a small school guy, I want to say this guy is dominant. He's the best player on the field if he's going to play in the NFL. You watch Caleb Proctor at Southeast Louisiana, this guy was dominant. He was the best player on the field. He was just blowing up everything at Southeast Louisiana. Needs to put on some pounds. I think he looks a little small. So for right away, kind of similar to Aeneas Peoples last year. So hopefully he can get some time. You're going to have to – we're still waiting on Matabuke. It's possible you're going to get Matabuke back at some point this year, or you may have him at the start. This will give you some insurance. I give you some depth piece I think is needed. I think they're going to be looking for one, I think, defensive end, defensive tackle in their 3-4 as well. Brent Urban may retire. Tavian Bryant may have to retire. You're going to need a guy late round. I think this is a good choice. And why not? Almost as good as the Army, but a Navy guy, Heidenreich, Eli Heidenreich from the midshipmen as well. Kyle Juszczyk, I think that's the high-end version of this guy. So you talk about Brayson, you take him earlier in the draft, he could play tight end. This is versatility. I think this guy could play 10 years in the NFL in special teams, right? He could definitely easily be a fullback, definitely a hybrid guy at Navy. He played wide receiver. He played running back. They run with 3 tight ends. So this is a guy definitely if you're looking for a guy to help you out on special teams, and I'm sure they are going to look for a guy to help them out on special teams as well. Absolutely, he can start at fullback. Kyle Juszczyk for the 49ers, I think, is the best comp for him as well. That's last year. That's wrong. All right, so Vega Alone, Derek Moore, Max Clare, Chandler Rivers, Pat Coogan, I think like that. Definitely have on the offensive side. Definitely they have some holes there as well. You need the pass rush. You address that as well. Brayston, I think, as well. Tight end, fullback tight end from Michigan. Curry, I think Kenny was saying it. He's going up draft boards. I think late round linebacker as well. Randall, I think, is a good late round pick there. Proctor, good small group at Heidenreich from the Navy. There you go. There's your draft. All right. So we are going to get more soon.